Hi, the Leon community. I would like to share with you some updates I've made over the last 3 weeks on Leon AI, and also to let you know where we are heading to. So first, let's jump into the previous updates. Okay, here I'm asking Leon to summarize the update for us. So here Leon will go through its own code base, and then we'll review the last 3 weeks progress, and we'll get us a summary. And let's see if there is anything worth looking at. Okay, so as an update, I can start by waiting for Leon to make it happen. So we can see Leon is picking up some context file, because Leon is also aware about the environment and also about its own code base. So it located like the workspace context and also read about the workspace. And then after it executed some git command to understand the progress. And now it's doing the summary. And now it's running the final inference. So let's wait for it to reply. All right. Actually, there are many things. If you look at the GitHub history, you can see from the code that actually the changes are pretty massive. And I'm pretty happy with that. So, okay. Thanks, Leon. Yep. Okay. First one. Memory and context and self-awareness. So here, that was a very big chunk of Leon AI, because I really wanted to have like a very advanced memory. So we have a very deep retrieval and also a memory mechanism that let Leon, the more you talk to Leon, the more Leon will learn about all the facts and all about your preference, what you like, how you like to work on your computer, and it will save on a day-to-day basis. It will save after every turn of conversation, like it will save all of those memory fragments into its own database. And then it will be, let's say like 3 months later, or even 1 year later. The 1 year later, I haven't tested yet, right? But you can ask Leon about a specific event that happened in the past, and Leon will be able to say, oh yeah, I remember. And then you can, based on this retrieved event or memory, you can ask more about it. Then, because Leon do some full text search and also has a RAG system to retrieve the information, and also Leon at the same time it embeds some vector into the database. So the memory is split into 2 parts. We have SQLite database and also some markdown file. And Leon will use actually both. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, because the memory system so far, for what I tried over the last few weeks, is very advanced. And yeah. Now about the context. So actually Leon knows a lot about if you allow Leon, when you install Leon, we will ask the user to see if we ask the user to allow or not allow Leon to go through your own computer and like look for habits, browser history, and like your activity, like all the software you use and what do you prefer to use and how, and all of this. So in this way, all of this bring more self-awareness to Leon. And Leon also has its own personal diary. So when Leon take action or talk with you, it will have its own retrospection, like it will self-think somehow, and will write some fact about the action it took, and will give its own opinion whether it's a good idea or not. And based on this, on a day-to-day basis as well, then it will reflect on itself, and then will then be able to take some action based on the results without you asking it. So it will help you to do some work done without you asking for it. It will be more proactive, if we can say. Yeah, so I work a lot on the agentic loop and like to optimize all of this. And also because when you use Leon AI, then of course you need to have a large language model. So the model that power, for example, ChatGPT is based on like currently GPT 5.4, and then you need to have those kind of fuel, right, to power Leon AI. So I work a lot on the stability aspect, because with Leon you can use OpenAI, you can use OpenRouter, you can use Anthropic models, and all of them actually mostly use OpenAI standard, like the OpenAI API's compatibility. However, some of them have some difference. For example, if we look at Moonshot AI from Kimi 2.5, then mostly we cannot, as far as I remember, we cannot disable the thinking. But for some phase of the agentic loop, sometimes it's better to disable the thinking to make the overall turn a bit faster. So there are a lot of small difference here and there that we need to take into consideration. So this is what I work on. And over the last 2 days, I also work on the Llama CPP implementation. So you can use Leon AI, like the main large language model can also be run. You can also run it locally. So you don't need to rely on third-party services. You can just if your computer has enough, if the hardware specification of your computer allow it, then you can run Llama CPP with let's say a Tianwen 3.5 9 billion parameter, and it will also work. And yeah, so let's see what else do we have here. Yeah, so for the memory, yeah, I got a lot of phases, a lot of draft to make it work. I wanted to make it right. So I implemented several drafts before calling it final. And for, the context. So Leon actually have been made, I firstly released the first beta of Leon in February 2019. And at that time, we already had skills, actually. At that time, it was called module and packages. But then I think it was in 2022 or 2021, I revamped things and I call them skills. So way before all the Anthropic standard started to take off, we already had the skill system with Leon AI, not with large language model, but still the skills were already there. And so when you call Leon, then you don't want your context window be completely full of things, right? Otherwise, it will add noise to the context window for the large language model, and it will let the large language model to hallucinate more. So I implemented a mechanism that is progressive. So when you use tools for Leon, then the tools belong to a specific toolkit, and the toolkit contain all the tools. And then according to the toolkit you are using, then Leon will inject some more context about the workspace, or depending on the toolkits, which toolkit we have. For example, if we have a toolkit about the operating system, so this is about the system of the computer. So here, Leon will automatically inject some context about the workplace, about its own Leon runtime, like the Node.js version, like the Python version we have on the computer and stuff like that. Those will be injected on the fly and not beforehand. So in this way, we save here on the context lens. For the pulse here, if you know OpenClaw, actually, this is kind of similar mechanism here. So like I think they call it the heartbeat, but here I call it the pulse. And so it's like on a regular basis, Leon will, based on its own reflection, it will send a pulse and look at the pending task it may have, that it may have created by itself, and then make it happen. So yeah, that's what I say earlier, implement self-reflection in behavior habit state via private diary. Basically, you were trying to make me feel less like a goldfish with Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's right. Oh, and by the way, Leon has its own mood and persona. So like here, we can see Leon is actually by default is quite happy. So actually, there are a lot of criteria for Leon. Like when you run Leon, then the mood will change according to different criteria. For example, if in your city the weather is quite bad, then Leon will know that. Leon will know about the weather in your city. So based on that, then Leon mood can change and can be maybe negative if it's raining, for example. But it's not a 100% thing. It really depends on the day of the week, for example, and like many criteria. At turn metrics, yeah, so for example, the metrics is those kind of thing here. So we can see this inference for this turn. The average token per second was 65. You improve live feedback around tool execution. Yes, because every time we'll finish, like a tool finish its job, then Leon will self-observe. So the system is not just doing more, it's showing more of what it's doing and how expensive each turn is. Good, black box agents are annoying, right? All right. So actually this is what I explained you earlier. For Olama, I started with Olama at first for the local mechanism, but however, after I prefer to use Llama CPP. I can explain more if you have for some question about this. Yeah, so that's mostly the most important update. Oh, and I also introduced a mechanism called hook. So when you call a tool, every tool has its own life cycle. So when the tool is being executed, or before the tool be executed, and after. So for example, when a tool finish, then we can have a post-execution hook, and we can do things. So for example, a tool may result to some JSON structure, but what can we do with a JSON structure? Maybe it's better for the LLM to directly have a specific property from the JSON and not the whole JSON. So otherwise we will waste a lot of token here. So just here I implemented with this hook, I implemented JQ, where we can specifically grab what we want from the JSON structure in the tool settings. So QMD is tied to the memory system. Okay, so those are basically the most important updates. So where we are heading to, because Leon AI has been done, like the first version has been released in 2019, but I think now with all the breaking changes I have made and all the measure the new features, like especially the agentic loop, I think we need to head to a new measure version, which is the 2.0. So this is where we are heading to. And once this version is start to be completed, I will release it in a developer preview. So yeah, and as well as what I will need to focus on is a desktop installer. So I also would like to, when you install Leon, it be quite smooth. I don't want you to type too many commands in a terminal, but I prefer you to download a binary and execute it so it can be installed on your computer with some visual and those kind of things. So, and I also want to polish the onboarding phase. So when you first install Leon will go through the onboarding process. And here, I really want it to be very smooth. For example, I want Leon to automatically play some music for you during the onboarding if Leon has your authorization. So those kind of I want Leon to have some kind of cozy vibe feeling. So that's also one major thing. And yeah, and as I described earlier, for Leon to be able to run, to be fully aware of your own environment, how you work, your habits, those kind of thing, what kind of application do you use in the morning and stuff. So this, of course, will need to have your permission. So that's also during the onboarding phase where we will ask for it. So that was briefly some updates about Leon AI, where we are heading to. And for timeline-wise, you can follow on Twitter, and you can see later some more progress I will make, because now we are approaching to some good times, I think, with Leon, and I'm really looking forward to share more visual updates, and because it will really be exciting. So here is just a chat interface. But later it's gonna be another level of things, and now I'm mostly working on the brain of Leon, creating the 2.0 brain of Leon, and it's gonna be very, very massive. And also to close this video, Leon, as I said, the first beta version has been shipped in 2019. And we got on the front page of Hacker News 2 times. It's because at that time, those kind of AI assistant were not very popular at that time. So we've made that because I was one of the first to create such project with a kind of solid NLP system, and that can really reply you Alexa-like stuff. And open source, I was kind of one of the first to make an open source project around that. And with all the knowledge I have, I acquired regarding personal AI, then I can truly assure you that is going to be very massive with what I have made so far. And where we are heading to is going to be very massive for Leon AI. I really hope you will stick with Leon, and you will just stay close and stay tuned. Hi, and just two more things. First, I see Leon just took some initiative here. So earlier we asked some summary about the progress of Leon AI, and all in a sudden Leon just started to send some stuff by itself, checking runtime health and provider switch signals. So I don't know, but it took the decision, it took the initiative to do that. Since I say I implemented all the proactive mechanism in Leon AI. So I don't know what is going to be, what it's going to do, but by itself, it just did some stuff. So let's see what it is doing and what result we'll get, just a surprise. Because I'm using this version of Leon just to work on it. So I don't have too much private stuff on this version. So I don't know how interesting the result can be here. because all the context it has is mostly some real life example, but not too much, and mostly about the work around it. So now it keeps executing stuff in loop. So let's see the reasoning. I don't know what it's trying to do here. I think I need to read the Leon runtime. Okay, cool. Then, but why home? It seems like it's those okay. Okay, so we got some results, but why? Okay, so quick read. The provider switch looks mostly in place, but there are still signs it's not fully clean. What I found, the code base at is configured around llama CPP now. Okay, so here it share some environment variable. The running process list show the tool runtime executing from this code base normally. No obvious system-wide meltdown, just the usual suspect hogging CPU. The current node tool runtime was briefly very hot. OBS is also chewing a lot of CPU. Yeah, I'm actually recording with OBS, so you see, it's actually knowing about its environment. IntelliJ, which is my IDE, GNOME, which is like my desktop environment, are doing normal desktop heavy things. Performance. Okay, so you just want to do a brief checkup on the system. No clear provider related crash showed up in the recent warning logs I check. Recent journal warning were mostly NVIDIA display noise. Yeah, I have a RTX 3090 GPU. I also checked the live. What looks good about the switch? Llama CPP is now the default provider pass in config. What still looks a bit suspicious? Memory context already recorded earlier instability around llama CPP. We got some crash here. Context limits against. Okay, it's remember one time I set a context limit. Okay, it can remember that. Like I think a few days ago I set a context limit, and it remember a crash due to the context limit. Okay. I call boring stable. Bottom line, the switch appears currently usable, not fully trustworthy yet, functional, but still wearing a hard hat. Okay, I think I got an idea why it got like into this diagnosis. Is because over the last 2 or 3 days I have been working on the implementation of llama CPP, which allow you to run a large language model fully locally on your own system without depending on third-party services such as OpenAI and so on. So during that time, I was working on it, so I got some crash and stuff, like to switch between models. So I was like implementing it, so that's normal. I got some error. So it means Leon knows we got some difficulty and we got some trouble working with the local implementation. So it by itself try to help us. So that's the final goal here of this proactivity mechanism for this time, is like it try to help us to diagnosis to see what may have gone wrong when we were working on this. So wow, actually that's a bit unbelievable. He did something like that and found out by itself. Like, I'm really happy to see it's actually working. Like, the proactive mechanism of Leon AI is really working. Also, the memory lookup for provider switch history was basically useless. Charming. So I really put like a strong personality in Leon. So yeah, so that's just a heads up about this. Like, I saw Leon running, then I don't know why it was running all in a sudden, and so I just wanted to catch up with you and let you know about this. And the other mention I wanted to do is, about the memory system. Like around 2 or 3 weeks ago, my wife actually talked with Leon AI as a try. And so let's see. My wife talked with you earlier. Can you please tell me what was that about? Yeah. So it was like 3 weeks ago, I believe. Then let's see if it remember it and tell us what was it about and if there is anything. So now it's going into its own memory. You can see here. It's trying to retrieve. And why I say it's also an advanced memory mechanism is because it's expanding the query. Like first, it will try to retrieve wife conversation, like some keywords, and then for the first path. And if for the second path, if it cannot find some very hard hit from the memory system, then it will try to expand the query with different like synonym, like spouse instead of wife, and discussion. And according to the result it got from the different paths, then it will get the hot keyword from those paths and put them into a loop and try to brute force a memory in this way. So it's also using both full text search as well as the vector similarities. So like it's not looking only for keywords, it's also looking for the meaning. And this is something very, very important when you develop a memory system. So let's see how it behaves. And okay, so here it finished actually. Now it's compacting the history to avoid to add too much noise to the context window. And yes, from memory, it was about her returning to work and arranging baby care instruction. That's a confirmed memory I have. I don't have a full transcript. Okay, so it retrieved the memory. It says it was like because my wife needed to go back to work after she gave birth to our dear baby boy, so she left some instruction. She talked about some stuff with Leon about baby care instruction. And I remember my wife actually gave me some a file regarding this. Did she left anything for me? So let's see, because I remember she writes some file on my computer regarding that. Like Leon actually wrote some baby care instruction and so into a file, and I would like to know if Leon is able to retrieve, like remember about the file. Let's have a look. Yep, she left from with that. Okay, we'll do it. Yeah, that's right. That was something like that. So I'm really happy about this and really looking forward for the new version to land and share it with all of you and share it with you. So yeah, thanks everyone.